Hello everybody, I am enjoying a nice evening with some family here in town in Ashley. I'm going to have Janet Nitschke join us. I feel like I need to give Carrie Lindgren here. She's an infertility patient who gave testimony this year, but I have to give her a little shout out. This is her Farmers Union. I wish I could get inside for you. She's like the Joanna Gaines, we call her, of McIntosh County, but she also went through infertility, has two beautiful children, and provided testimony for us. So we thank her for that. All right, let's get Janet on. Oh, and there's going to be a dog that's going to interrupt us here too. So tonight we are going to talk military and breast cancer and infertility. She's amazing. You guys are going to love her. And of course, all these vehicles and dogs have to drive by now while hopefully the sound isn't too bad. But if you didn't see it already, check out our KX News. They did a great story on Patty Teagle and interviewed an OBGYN last night. And I'm going to post another article that I got a contact from a healthcare company that does publishing, and they saw my story and wanted to talk, so I'll post that later too. Let's see. Once again, if you have any questions, you can just put them below or ask Janet later. Share the video and enter our contest that we have going on. Tomorrow we have at 2 p.m. An infertility nurse. She's going to give us her perspective on that. And then we have Dr. Kane from Sanford Reproductive. I'm super excited for both of them so you guys can get a medical perspective on everything too. Let me just see. And I'm using my phone, so everything's different too. She should be with us any moment. And we also, like I said, I've been posting stories every day, and if you still want to submit your story, I would be happy to post it, and keep it going throughout too. So, you know, even if it's next week, 2 weeks, 2 months, share it with me. I will share it on the page. And anything else that you'd like to see on our page too, that's, you know, infertility related, health policy, legislative related, we'd love to share it with you guys. August 18th will be our Walk of Hope that we're doing with Resolve. It'll be at the Capitol, and we'll have more details coming on that. Oh, Sarah, so yeah, so one thing I want to start with too is congratulations to all of you graduating this weekend. I know Sarah's on. And then, oh, here, she's coming now. Perfect. So Janet is military, as you'll hear her story from her. So I just want to thank her and all of any vets, current active military, just for your service. We all greatly appreciate that sacrifice. She is coming. She just texted me. Hope you guys are enjoying your weekend. I really hope there's not going to be more snow. I'm super sick of it. I mean, I know it has its good pieces, but I'm just kind of over it. She is... Paige is on. Thank you, Paige, for sharing your story with us. If you haven't read it, I know it's long, you have to read Paige's Daughter to Their Letter. It's amazing. Paige is also one of the first people that I went to when I had infertility. She's an amazing support system. I know she'd be willing to help any of you and be a person to go to and talk to if any of you are looking for an extra person, an extra shoulder to lean on. Paige has been through it, so. There she is. I'm going to add her now. Okay, Main Street in Ashley is never this busy, and of course I'm sitting out here, and it's like car after car after car. Hey! Hi.
Hi,
How are ya?
I'm all right. How are
How's your
you?
son? Good. I was giving him a quick tour of, Main Street, Ashley. I'm sitting out here with my family. They're in town, so we're having supper here. And I'm like, I'm gonna go sit outside and enjoy this nice weather. But it's your turn now, so we're gonna jump right into you.
Okay. First of all, thank you so much for everything that you're doing. You're reaching out to so many of us, and you're making a very difficult topic something that we can discuss. So thank you for all your hard work. It's been
You're welcome.
amazing to be a
And you
part of
missed
this
it. So
journey.
I have to tell you in person too. Thank you for your service before I forget. And thank you also, you testified for us. So extra thank you for that. That took a lot of emotion to go up there and talk about everything that you did, which I want you to talk on that tonight too. So
Absolutely. Thank you so
let's
much for
just,
this opportunity.
yeah, you're welcome. So let's start. Your dream in life is to become a pilot, and it starts there. Or maybe
Yes.
before. Maybe even started before that.
Yes, as a female in the military, oftentimes we have to put aside our personal and our family goals in order to pursue our career fields. And so 22 years ago, I joined the North Dakota National Guard. And so I've been serving. Many times when you serve, you have to go through schools and different courses in order to progress, not only in your career, but in the fields that you want to progress in. And in order to do that, you often, you can't be pregnant in order to complete those courses. And so through the 22 years, I've become an officer. In order to do that, I was um, going through officer candidate school, and that was a year and a half. After that, I had another 5 months of training in my career field, and I wasn't able to be pregnant at all during those times. And so that's why I'm saying we often have to push aside our personal and family goals in order to progress in our fields. Um, and so I finally had my dream job of becoming a pilot for the state of North Dakota and the North Dakota National Guard. And I was 4 months away from graduating flight school when I found a breast lump, and it turned out to be breast cancer. And so I was sent back to our state. And once being sent back to our state, I was told that I could look into some fertility treatments to possibly save some of my eggs because I hadn't had children at that point. And they often ask you if you do want to have children, if that was something you wanted. And of course, that was part of my plan and my goal all along was to have a family. And once we found out the cost associated with even going in and seeing if I could retrieve any eggs and possibly save them, and just the cost associated with that, with the unknown cost associated with just treating my cancer, it was something I kind of had to put to the side and say, um, it's not an option for me right now. With the stress of knowing that I was going to be fighting cancer, I didn't know um, what that fight was going to look like emotionally, mentally, financially. I couldn't dare possibly put any more into this other unknown at the time.
Were you married at that time already?
I was, yep, I was married for about 4 years at that time.
Okay.
And when I did sign up for flight school, I knew the unit that I would be going to would be deploying right after my flight school when I would graduate. So I mean, it was a year and a half for flight school, possibly another year for that deployment. So the plan was to start my family coming home off that deployment. So there was definitely a plan in place. I just never got to play out that plan.
And clearly you had military insurance, which didn't
Yes,
cover that either. Didn't cover infertility or cancer preservation, correct?
correct. I had TRICARE at the time, and they said, being that I wasn't actively trying to get pregnant at that time, that they couldn't cover the costs associated with even looking to see if I was a candidate to freeze any eggs, let alone doing the actual procedures to do it, and then also storing it. So there's
Mm,
quite a
yeah.
cost associated with all of that.
Yes. Very. And then that storage fees yearly, so you have to take that into consideration too when you're looking at this.
Absolutely.
Awful. So you're in training now. How did you find your lump?
I actually I felt my lump. I just came off the flight line. I was going to meet a study group and quickly study before the next morning. I had a check ride the next morning, and so I was just showering very quickly, and I just happened to feel it. So luckily, I found
Routine.
it.
Yep. Routine self exam.
Hmm. Yep, yep. Early detection, especially for breast cancer, is the key.
Yes, absolutely. So you decide, you find out you have cancer. What is the time frame between that and being treated for you? Or
For
starting
me,
treatment, between all of that?
it was a little difficult because the students down at Fort Rucker, Alabama are much younger than me. I was 34 at the time. A lot of times they're right out of college. So I was older than the average student going through. So breast cancer is something they never come across. So the fact that I was diagnosed, there really wasn't any protocol in place. And so it took about a month for them to figure out that the type of cancer I had couldn't be treated with just a quick lumpectomy and throw me right back into training. Of course, that's what we all wanted and hoped for, and especially me because I was living out my dream and was going to be a pilot for our
Mm-hmm.
state. Um, but we quickly learned that that wasn't the case, that I was going to need um, not only surgery, but chemotherapy. And once we started gathering all the facts and understanding that, it was about a month there. And then I had about a couple weeks at Fort Riley, Kansas, where I transitioned to the Warrior Transition Unit before actually getting back here to Bismarck and meeting my cancer care team here. So it might have been about a couple months. And
Oh, wow.
so there was some time to think about it. But like I said, you're processing so many things with breast cancer. Are you going to lose one breast? Are you going to lose both breasts? I mean, that's an option. Doing the chemotherapy, doing the radiation, those are all options. And um, being it was estrogen positive, that also plays a large key. So, like I said, my cancer team was very good about asking me if a family was something I wanted, and of course, it was something I wanted, and giving me that option. They actually set up an appointment with me to see a doctor in Fargo, and knowing that TRICARE didn't cover it, just the cost was a partial payment to even talk to this doctor. And
Mhm.
like I said, I was too nervous with my cancer battle ahead of me and unsure of what that was going to take for me mentally, emotionally, and financially. That I told my husband at the time that was one stressor we were just going to
Yep.
leave to the side. And it was a hard decision, but I mean, when you get to the battle or to deciding if you want to battle the cancer or
Mhm.
this fertility, it gets to be difficult decisions.
Right. I mean, yeah. And how do you absorb all of that, so quick? I mean, even in months, that's still a very short period of time to your diagnosis, your treatment, now a family on top of it too, and decisions like that. Because I'm assuming your therapy that you had, like now, are you still on any medications for it?
I was up until about, I want to say 6 months ago, I was on a hormone therapy. Tamoxifen is what it's called, where
Mm-hmm.
it blocks your estrogen. And so I was actually on that for 5 years. Some patients are on it for 10, but at this point, just quality of life is why I decided to come off of it. I mean, I did my first 5 years, which is what my oncologist wanted me to do. And there's a whole bunch of side effects that come with it. And it was just time for me to be me and to be
Yeah.
try to get happy and healthy again.
So is tamoxifen something they want someone to stay on forever, or is there like a time, like you said, 5 years? Some do 10 years. Do they kind of monitor everything? I know you do some follow-ups yearly,
Yes.
6 months. Is it still?
I actually have been doing 2 month PET scans
PET scans.
along with blood work. It was 3 months a while ago. I'm considered high risk, and
Mm.
it seems like almost every time I do a PET scan, something is lighting up, and it's something that we're looking into. But the tamoxifen, originally my doctor said we're going to do this for 5 years, and I was like, okay, we're going to do this, and I did it for the 5 years, and now they really want some women on it for 10, and some of them almost for life. But I initially said 5 years, I'm going to do it, and I did that 5 years, and um, I'm happy with that.
Good, good. So, I don't know if people may understand if you can explain, even if it's just very basic, like the reason you have to preserve your fertility. Like, clearly we can assume it's because you forever will have, you
Hmm.
know, you're on 5 years, but now, I mean, you can't carry, and same with Desiree, because of the medication that you're on or were on. Is that correct?
Well, actually, my journey also, my cancer journey, I should say, also included me having to do a full hysterectomy.
Ah,
I was
okay.
tested positive for the BRCA1 mutation, which
Yes.
is ties to breast and ovarian, and my mother did pass of ovarian cancer.
Okay.
So once I did my bilateral mastectomy, I did my chemotherapy. Um, I started my reconstruction process, and in the very last surgery of my reconstruction process, they also did that full hysterectomy, which was part of my preventive care for cancer. So, um, yeah, my option now is actually completely gone.
Okay. And BRCA testing. That's becoming a very common thing now. I know we even do it in our rural clinic. So I think it's something I just want to encourage women to look into. Most OBGYNs, if not all, are doing screenings for it now. So just to take
Mhm.
that seriously, insurance is covering it like phenomenal compared to even 5 years ago. So I just encourage everybody to, talk with your family practice or your OBGYN and see if you screen, because even if there's a history of, pancreatic cancer in your family, you
Mhm.
screen for it. If I believe, oh, Dr. Schaefer McLean, don't get mad at me for not remembering your nice sheet. They have a nice sheet. Find your family practice person. Uterine, ovarian, under the age of 50, three or more members of your family, and 20 or more polyps, I believe it is, with colorectal screening. So colorectal screening is another big important thing to do. You wouldn't think of pancreatic or colorectal kind of going into it, but they're finding more and more genetics
Mhm.
attached to it. And if you've had it, BRCA done, so like you, I believe they keep it on file. So as they're continuing to do more research and find more genes tied to it, you should get a notification, if you ping positive for anything at any time too. So it's a wonderful test. I think that's just more readily available and actually covered by insurance. So yeah, I
Right.
guess.
Right. No, it was huge in my factor because it was something that helped me realize to do a bilateral mastectomy rather than
Yeah,
just doing one.
right.
Um, Even though my breast cancer did reoccur a second time, it reoccurred in my lymph nodes. Um, so at least
Mm,
I try to take that chance away. So that's
yeah.
why, like I said, I'm the high risk, and that's why I'm getting and I actually have my next PET scan on Monday. So
Oh, we'll be praying for you. Make you
thank you.
post it on your Facebook page, don't you?
I do. I do.
Okay, I
Mm.
saw that. Okay,
Yep.
so let's go back. You had breast cancer twice.
Yes.
How did
Yes.
you? I mean, if like you were cured fully, or at one
Uh,
point?
my my breast cancer, my oncologist says she won't say I'm in remission until I'm clear for 5 years. And being
Okay,
that it reoccurred, my clock started over again.
starts. Oh, wow.
So, yep. So a little unfortunate, but um, I'm doing a lot of things to try to keep me healthy and happy. Like I said, coming off the tamoxifen helped increase my quality of life, and I'm able to exercise a little bit more, have a little more energy. Um, a lot of things like my cholesterol was through the roof and triglycerides were through the roof on that medication.
Mhm.
It affects them differently, and some people have no problems on it, and some of us have all the gamuts of the side effects. So
Right.
um, I'm glad that I did my 5 years, but I'm glad my 5 years is done.
Yes. Yeah, you're a very positive person. I just love like having you as a friend on Facebook. Even like, okay, I'm gonna go exercise. I wish I was in Bismarck to exercise with you. You look like a fun person to exercise with. It's like I love my girls to exercise with, but like I want to do like, what do you, solid core you do, and you go to the
Hmm.
YMCA and you're eating super healthy. Okay, let's talk about eating healthy. So is there like a certain diet, or, what do they kind of give you for tips for that you've been kind of following? What research have you done for healthy lifestyle?
Oh my goodness. I've done quite a bit of research, especially now that it's been 6 years and two battles with breast cancer. And it's kind of a taboo topic for cancer survivors because um, some breast cancer survivors, it's not fed off any hormones. Some of us have it fed off hormones. Other cancers, there's testicular cancer, there's lung cancer. So everybody kind of has to do their own research and find out what works for them. For me, I try to be a plant-based diet is what I try to follow. I'm closer to a vegetarian where I still do eggs. I try to only do those on the weekends, and I don't do dairy milk. Um, I was almost cheese-free, but I'm back on cheese, and so I think it's all in what you can tolerate. I don't
They
eat any
make dairy
meat.
free cheese. They make
There
dairy
is.
free cheese. Did you know?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
different. I mean, it's all right, right? It's like not cheese though.
Yeah, I actually like a lot of the nut cheeses that are out there. There's just not that many to choose from here.
Right.
So a
And they're
lot of times
expensive.
if yeah, if when I travel to Fargo or to Minneapolis, I definitely pick up my fair share of them, and I definitely like them. I think whatever um, whatever you can tolerate is what's best for you because it comes down to quality of life there as well. So
And I
um,
think an important overall for you is like be your own advocate. Do your own research too. I
absolutely.
mean, you did a lot of that on your own throughout your journey, and I mean, you can't go wrong when you're eating healthy and exercising, and just for overall quality of health, like you're talking about too.
Hmm. Yeah, I've been able to visit with the dietitian at the Bismarck Cancer Center. They have classes, and you can go in and sit down one-on-one with them. So definitely, like you said, be your own advocate, seek out people, ask questions, and try different things. That's kind of how I came up to with what I'm doing today,
Yeah.
being plant-based and vegetarian, basically.
Awesome. Okay, let's talk for a second. I roped you into testifying. Is your first time there, right?
Yes, yes.
You're kind of scared, nervous. I was too. like, like,
I,
let's talk about how. I mean, did it? What did you think overall? If other people are thinking of doing it with us next time, because we're gonna need you all. Even if you like, just type your story and give it to us and send it to your legislators. But if you actually come and testify with us, tell them about that.
So first time ever. You wrote me in for my first time ever. I've never been really big at public speaking or um, I'm introverted, so being in groups is a little scary for me. But um, like you said, I typed out my story. I went over it a couple times, had it in my head, had it ready to go. But ultimately, what it came down to is, as I was sitting there waiting for my turn, you had done so much research. You really set us up for
I hit them with
success.
let your
Um,
guys' stories come after I hit them with statistics and facts.
No, I mean, your own personal story and having all the statistics, all the facts. Um, After hearing you speak, I felt so much more confident getting up there. So you did your job and you really set us all up for success, honestly. So anybody that's thinking about speaking next time and doing testimony, I say do it. You made us feel at ease and comfortable. And like I said, it's not an easy topic to talk about, but
Oh,
you're
oh
making it a
yeah,
lot easier to discuss it in public and making it giving some light to it and
yes.
I can't thank you enough for doing everything that
No,
you're doing.
it's just yeah, and it's I think, and I got asked today, like what made you? I'm like, I'm speaking up for those where I once was, where you're silent about it, and it's too hard to talk about it, and that might be forever for people. And so I think if you're willing, and even like I said, it's if you want to send me your stories even later on, and I'll post them in the notes section, or at any time, if you're just or if you're never comfortable, that's okay, and we're here for you too. And there's some wonderful support groups online. There's actually a support group I found out about yesterday in Fargo Moorhead area. There's a Resolve support group in Bismarck that Patty Teagle runs. So even if you just find one person, five people, that kind of thing, to just, and I'm sure you're part of a support group for breast cancer too.
When you were talking about support groups the other night when I was watching, absolutely 100%. I don't know what I'd do without those ladies.
Yeah, you
They've
become
made life
like,
tolerable for me.
yes, it's awesome. You just feel like you're understood and they get it, and there's not, yeah, there's no judgment and that kind of thing going on in there. They're just a safe place and somewhat secretive, and no one has to know where you're going. And
Hmm.
yeah, was there
I
anything else you'd like to add?
The only thing I really wanted to add is that cancer was something I didn't ask for. I didn't ask for it the first time. I didn't ask for it the second time. And through my cancer journey, I am in a very different place than all of my peers. A lot of my peers are mothers right now, and they have their young families, and I'm in a very different place than a lot of them. So as hard it is to talk about it sometimes, it's something that needs to be talked about because it's something I did want. I did want to have a family, and unfortunately, that wasn't God's plan for me. And I'm moving forward and doing things like this, being able to talk about it and share my journey and advocate is very helpful. So thank you for, like I said, I can't thank you enough for doing this and to bringing light to this topic because it's not an easy topic to talk about.
Well, thank you too for coming forward. I mean, yeah, I can't even like imagine. And it's one of those things, until you've been through it, nobody understands. And that's where your support group comes in hand. And I'm so happy that I was able to meet you. I wish everybody would, like, I've only been around you like 2 times maybe in person. And I'm like, thank you, Corey, for, we text and we keep in touch other ways. I'm like, she's such an awesome soul. Like, you're such a beautiful person. You're so positive. Like, yeah, anyone is just blessed to know you, and for you to speak out is huge. Like, you have to relive those emotions, I would assume, every time you talk about each stage of your cancer journey, let alone talking about the infertility part of it too. It's a reminder, yeah, of just hard times. And so you're a very strong woman, and military, I can't even, I mean, yeah, you're just awesome. You're so awesome.
I thank you for all those nice, kind words. I really do appreciate it. Um, and like being able to share my story is huge because oftentimes I get invited to baby showers or I'm there while mothers are breastfeeding, and sometimes I hope they don't think I'm rude. I might just have to walk away and have my
Yep,
moment.
me too. You have
But
to.
I
Absolutely.
think people kind of, I hope they understand that it's not easy, and
I'm glad
as
you brought
happy
that up.
as I am for them,
Yes,
it's just difficult for me sometimes.
yes. And I hope by doing this live, and I want the friends who are watching, share this, friends to watch. Like, we just want you to know, like, we're happy for you. It's nothing against you, but we
Right.
need to just separate ourselves. And we may not come, and we're sorry, but it's forever there. It's never gonna leave. It's there's easy days and there's hard days, but you may not know till you get there. So having to leave, I mean, or maybe not go out to the, like Desiree talked about, she's like, I even warned my friends beforehand I was going to say this, like, sorry ladies, I just don't like sitting and talking kids all the time at the table. Like, I loved it. Like,
Hmm.
just know. And it's not, we're saying like don't do that's
Hmm.
fine. But just maybe just be a little extra sensitive, and if we get up and walk away, or we change the subject, or we don't show up, or we cry, like, just hug us, pray for us, and that's all.
Hmm.
That's all we expect. So,
Yeah, a lot of times people don't know what to say, and it's okay if they
right?
don't say anything. Like you said,
Nothing.
a hug
Yep.
is great. If you
Hug.
don't want to hug, just let us have our moment,
Yep.
and we'll come
Yep.
back when we're ready.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. You're so right. And that's for anything. I mean, and we all heal differently. I mean, some people may just heal emotionally slower. Um, and that's just, yeah, just be there for us and support us.
Hmm.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up again. That's a very important topic that I just want friends and family to think about, and to not get weird with us about it when it happens, or if we don't want to host the baby shower, or just attend the friend's kid's birthday party. It's just not easy sometimes, no matter if you have a kid, no kid, no matter where you're at. I think it's always there. And like you said, the breastfeeding, or talking
Hmm.
about kids and seeing your people your age, you know, do different things with their families and stuff. So I'm glad to hear that, you know, you're strong, you're God's plan too. That's, you're a strong Christian, and that always makes things a little easier to heal sometimes too.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well,
No, I can't thank you enough for including me on this. There's so many strong and wonderful people, intelligent people that are talking about this, and I just appreciate being considered to share my story.
you are, I'm not letting you go either. You're hanging around for the next 2 years in the next session. So you're stuck with me. Sorry, Janet.
Okay, I'm on
That's
board.
everybody.
Absolutely.
And thank you again so much for being with us tonight, Janet.
Hmm.
Okay, bye.
Bye.